Alright guys, in this video we're going to look at the GFR of the kidney. When I talk of the GFR, I mean the glomerular filtration rate of the kidney and some calculations. Once I was 7 years. So when I talk of GFR, that is the glomerular filtration rate of the kidney. Now this glomerular filtration rate of the kidney is used to estimate. It is used to estimate the clearance activity. The clearance activity of the kidney. In actual sense, the glomerular filtration rate is the volume of filtrate, in the kidney per 1 minute, that is a minute. So the volume of the filtrate in a kidney per minute, that is the glomerular filtration rate. Now let's look at determinants of the glomerular filtration rate. Okay, so the determinants of the GFR, we have hydrostatic pressure, colloid, or that is the oncotic pressure, and the filtration coefficient. So based on the determinants of the GFR, we have the formula of the GFR to be calculated mathematically as the coefficient of filtration. This coefficient of filtration could be denoted by Kf like this. So that's the coefficient of filtration multiplied by the net filtration pressure. So elaborating this formula, we have the coefficient of filtration to be the product of the permeability of glomerula and the surface area of the glomerula. So that is for the Kf, that is the coefficient of filtration. Now let's zoom into the net filtration pressure. This net filtration pressure talks about 4 components. So let's zoom in. So looking at the net filtration pressure, this is the sum of a number of forces or pressures. There are at least 4, but one will be excluded, and you will know why as we continue. So before we talk about the net filtration pressure, let me take you through the hydrostatic pressure. The hydrostatic pressure denoted by this, and the oncotic pressure denoted by this. Now when we talk of the hydrostatic pressure, it is, in simple terms, we will say it is the pushing force. So it pushes, it tries to push the molecules, and the oncotic pressure, it pulls. So in simple terms, that is how I'm going to explain it to you. Okay, so the net filtration pressure, we're going to look at the glomerular and the Bowman capsules. That is, we're going to take the renal capsule. So this is the renal capsules making up of the glomerular and then the Bowman capsules. So here is the afferent arterioles and then the efferent arterioles. So let's look at the oncotic pressure in the glomerular and what they do. And then after that, we look at the hydrostatic and the oncotic pressure in the Bowman's capsules and their effect. So as I said, the hydrostatic pressure is the force that pushes. So taking the hydrostatic pressure in the glomerular filtrate or the glomerular capillaries, it will push fluids downwards like this. So this will be the hydrostatic pressure of the glomerular. So this means that the hydrostatic pressure of the glomerular supports or it promotes filtration, because the fluid has to pass through this. Now there is fenestrations in the glomerular capillaries, so it has to push the fluid there so that it can be filtrated in the capillaries. We have the fenestrations in the capillaries. Now looking at the PG, that is the hydrostatic pressure in the glomerular, it tends to promote filtration. As you look at it, the direction of it, it tends to promote filtration. And the oncotic pressure tends to pull fluid in the glomerular capillary. So the glomerular oncotic pressure opposes the glomerular hydrostatic pressure. Now looking at the Bowman's capsules, the hydrostatic pressure inside pushes fluid upwards. The hydrostatic pressure of the Bowman's capsules pushes fluids upwards, which is also opposite, or it is opposing the hydrostatic pressure in the glomerular, meaning that it opposes filtration. And the oncotic pressure would then pull fluids downwards. This also means that it supports filtration. So from this whole structure, the net filtration pressure could be calculated as the sum of all the forces and the pressures inside here. But mind you, all the forces that are acting upwards will be negative. They will be negated in the formula. So, hydrostatic pressure of the glomerular to be Pg, which supports filtration. Then minus the oncotic pressure of the glomerular minus the hydrostatic pressure of the Bowman's capsules minus the oncotic pressure of the Bowman's capsules. But note that in the Bowman's capsules there is low protein, making the oncotic pressure in the Bowman capsules to be 0. So this implies that the net filtration pressure will be Pg minus the oncotic pressure there minus the hydrostatic pressure in the Bowman's capsules, and then we know that the oncotic pressure in the Bowman's is 0. Right, so let's look at calculation or the net filtration pressure of a healthy man. For a healthy man, the Pg, which is the hydrostatic pressure of the glomerular, is 60 in millimeter mercury, and then the oncotic pressure of the glomerular is 18 also in millimeter mercury, and then the hydrostatic pressure in the Bowman is 32. Now I've told you that the oncotic pressure in the Bowman is 0, and I've explained why. So by simple calculations, the net filtration pressure will be 60 minus 18 minus 32, which is positive 10 millimeter mercury. That's the unit of the pressure. The net filtration pressure of a healthy man, 10 millimeter mercury. So this gives us the whole concept about how GFR is calculated. From change of subjects, we know that we can see the Kf, that's the coefficient of filtration, is equal to the glomerular filtration rate or divided by the net filtration pressure. Now this means that this Kf depends directly on the GFR and it depends indirectly on the net filtration pressure, in the sense that when Kf is increased, or when the surface area or the permeability of the glomerular is increased, it means that there is going to be high clearance activity of the kidney, that is the glomerular filtration rate. But there are some diseases that tends to lower the Kf. They do so by thickening the wall of the capillary or the walls of the glomerular capillaries. In this case, the Kf, which is the filtration coefficient, is reduced because of thickening the walls of the glomerula, which reduces penetration or the permeability, thereby reducing GFR. I was 7 years old, my daddy showed me the path to be a doctor.